So I'll go to this budget at glance. So I think you are all aware about this. I've already shown to you when I am explaining the budget concept. What is the revenue receipts? First one is what? Tax revenue in bracket. Net tax revenue. That means this is a tax that exclusively goes for the union. That means you are collecting more than this. How much they are collecting, I will give it later. But what is the net? Net to the union is how much? How much? This one. This is actuals. The graph I have shown. Initially I used to draw that box now when I am actuals. How much you have spent in 2021-22? How much you have allocated in 2023? How much? This is an estimation. How much you are going to spend, because we have allocated this much, but how much you are going to do, and what is the allocation for next year? How much total tax revenue net to the center? 23,30,631. What is the non-tax revenue? 3,16,000. Not 3,01,650. That means total it is 26,32,281. This is revenue receipts. This is revenue receipts. Revenue receipts include tax revenue, non-tax revenue. Tax revenue include direct and indirect tax, non-tax revenue. Okay, I'll explain it later. Okay, first of all, this is revenue receipt. What is the capital receipt? 18,70,816. In this, recovery of loans, how much? 23,000 crore. Other receipts is how much? 61. Other receipts means disinvestment proceeding. Now, disinvestment proceedings, dividend and profits comes under non-tax revenue. Disinvestment proceeding, that means if you go for disinvestment, that should be part of capital receipt, no? Capital receipt. Actually in this 61, 51,000 is only from the this disinvestment proceeding. Remaining 10,000 is from asset monetization. Okay, 61. I think you are all aware what is the seventh one. Your fiscal deficit. Your fiscal deficit. How much fiscal deficit? 17,86,816. Your total collection is 23 lakh crore. Your total loans are 17 lakh crore. See the level of loans. Total receipts how much? That plus this. 45 lakh 3,097. That means what is your total budgeted amount of money? 45 lakh 3,097 crore. This is the budgeted amount for this year. This year. And how much you have to spend? You have to spend the same amount. You have to spend the same amount. In this total expenditure. And this revenue. Revenue account how much? 35 lakh 21,136. Of the 45 lakh, 35 lakh is revenue expenditure. Then what will be the capital? 10 lakh. 10 lakh 961. These two are part of revenue. 11th and 12th is part of revenue. Of the 35 lakh crore, what is the interest payment? 10 lakh crore. Of the 35 lakh crore, 10 lakh crore is the interest payment. Of the 35 lakh crore, what is the grants in aid for creation of capital asset? Not total grants in aid. Grant in aid for creation of capital asset 3,69,000. That means 1.37 we have added. No, this is 3,70,000. That means total grants are much more beyond, but just okay. Used for grants used for creation of capital asset 3,69,000. So this is total revenue and total expenditure. Capital expenditure. Now we can see. That means capital expenditure plus revenue grants used for the creation of capital assets. That is effective capital expenditure. Is it clear? That is 10 lakh plus 3.69, 1.37. Revenue deficit, no need of number, 2.9%. 4.4, 3.8, we expected 3.8, I think we will end up with 4.1. But anyhow, even though it is a decline, 4.4, 4.1, 2.9. What is effective revenue deficit? You can understand effective revenue deficit means from the revenue deficit, you have to deduct this capital. 3.3, 2.6, 1.7, good. Fiscal deficit, 6.7, 6.4, 5.9, and everyone looks for this number. Is it what you are projected, or again you increase? Because at the time of presentation of budget, we can say like, oh, we are reducing the fiscal deficit, we are here to bring the financial discipline, but by the time of revision, no, normally you will increase. But anyhow, finance minister has not adjusted 6.4, 6.4, 5.9. That means it is declining. Fiscal deficit. Primary deficit 3.3, 2.8, 2.3. Anyway, you know the definition of primary deficit. Fiscal deficit minus interest payment. Interest payments. I think we are paying lot of interest. That is why it is reducing. What is the nominal GDP for budget 2023-24? What is the budget? Nominal GDP for 23-24? Always I used to say 250 lakh crore. Now it has become 301 lakh crore. 301 lakh crore, assuming 10.5% growth over the estimated nominal GDP of 273 lakh 751 crore as per the first advanced estimate of 22-23. That means this year budget, this year GDP is how much? 273 lakh crore. So remove the 250 from your mind. Now you have to fix 273 lakh crore. Next year how much it will become? 301. Is it clear? So what is our GDP, nominal GDP? 273 lakh crores. Okay, forget about that number. Nominal GDP. Real something around 160, 160, 170, sometimes 150. Okay. So this is what. So that means what is the growth rate? Nominal growth rate. Nominal growth rate is how much? Nominal growth rate is how much? 10.5%. Then what is the real growth rate? Real growth rate something we are saying 6.5 for next year. Then inflation could be 4%. And your Chidambaram is not arguing, Chidambaram is arguing inflation can be really 4% in the economy next year. It can be 5%, 6%, 7%, no. So what is this number? Why you want to give? But I already told you, inflation, CPI inflation number is different. Inflation for calculation of GDP is different. I think you got that idea. That is why I emphasized a lot when I am explaining. Okay. So because in GDP, it calculates inflation of all the items. Okay. So 10.5% is the nominal growth. Okay. Anyway, I'll show you the absolute number. These deficits. Okay. This you can understand. Fiscal deficit, revenue deficit, effective revenue deficit, primary deficit. Your borrowing program. How much you need to borrow? 17,98,603 crore you have to borrow. Market borrowing, G-Secs plus T-bills, how much? 12 lakh. In that, most of them is from G-Secs, not T-bills. Actually, they should have write dated securities and T-bills, because both are comes under the definition of G-securities. But G-Sec in the sense that dated security. T-bills is, you are all aware that short tenure. So G-Secs plus T-bills how much? 12 lakh. Securities again a small savings. So from the small savings schemes are there, no? Normally you will pay money, you will save. From that government of India will take some loan. How much they are going to take? 4,71,000 or 47? 4,71,000. Next, State Provident Fund, 20,000 crore. Other receipts. External debt is how much this year? 22,118 crore. 22,118 crore. This is the external debt this year. Is it clear? Grand total is this. Deficits. Okay, just have an idea. Fiscal deficit 9.2, 6.7, 6.4, 5.9. Revenue deficit. Okay. Primary deficit, effective revenue deficit. See, just a minute. Effective revenue deficit, primary deficit. Okay, there is no relation. Source of deficit financing. Which one is the highest tax? Just see. Okay. So GST is the highest tax that you are collecting. But normally direct tax is highest. Direct tax together how much? Corporation tax 9,22,000, income 9 lakh, wealth tax abolished. This is only direct, no? How much? 18. How much total tax that you are collecting? 33. 33 is the total. 33 is the total tax collection. In that, center will get how much? 23. What about remaining 10 lakh crore? devolution. Devolution how much? 10 lakh crores. Devolution how much? 10 lakh crores. Is it clear? Okay. Did you ever see this after presenting the budget? In newspaper also at least have you seen? So net is 30, total gross is 33, net to the union is 23. 10 is the devolution according to the Finance Commission. In that corporate tax is 922 and income, sorry, tax and income is 9. So 18. Next customs 2 lakh, excise 3 lakh, that means 5. GST 9, 9 plus 5 14. Okay, 14, I think that numbers you can 15. Okay, tax on union territories. So this is how. Okay, just have an idea. So that means the taxes in the divisible pool of taxation is corporation tax, income tax, customs, union excise, services tax, GST. They are all part of divisible pool only, no? Because this is the total thing. From this you are devolving. Next, state share is how much? 10,21,448. Center share is how much? 23,30,631. Now come to the non-tax revenue. What are the components of non-tax revenue? Interest receipts, dividend and profits, external grants, other non-tax, anyway, receipts of union territories. In this, what is the dividend and profit? 91,000. 91,000. Other non-tax revenue is 1,81,000. External grant is only 2,135. So these are the components of non-tax revenue. Capital receipts again we have already seen in the first. So total capital receipts is 1882. Total receipts is 451. What is this? Trends in tax receipts. This is direct, this is indirect, gross tax receipts. Tell me, as a percentage of, just a minute, as a percentage of GDP. See, as an absolute number it may increase. As an absolute number it may increase. Anything that you can draw? 11.1% is the total tax collection as a percentage of GDP. As a percentage of GDP, 5.1% is your GST and 6.0% is your direct taxes. Direct taxes. So this is when you compare it to your total. See, what is the tax to GDP rate? 11 point. In developing countries, it is 17, 16, 19, but in India it is 11. That means when you compare it to your GDP, your taxation is not enough. We need to enhance it. For that, we need to widen the tax coverage or the tax base. This number is important when you are writing answer related to, because in UPSC the question was already asked related to widening of tax base. So when you are writing about widening of tax base, how we can improve, you have to quote this number. Like in India, the gross tax collection as a percentage of GDP is only 11%, whereas in case of developed countries, it is above 15. Okay. Just imagine, even if you make it 15, 4% extra. 4% of GDP means you can imagine more than 10 lakh crores. More than 10 lakh crores. Taxes you are getting per annum. You can spend it in a better way. So this number is important. Anyway, when tax is increasing, net central tax increases. Non-tax revenue. See, center's expenditure. Establishment expenditure. Establishment expenditure means already the existing establishments are there, you have to run it, salaries and all. How much it is? 7,44,000. Central sector schemes, how much? 14,67,880. Other central sector expenditure, how much? 13 lakh 01, of which interest payment is 10 lakh. Of which interest payment is 10 lakh. That means how much total? 14 plus 13, 27, 27 plus 7, 34. Now, centrally sponsored scheme how much? 34 means remaining another 10 lakh crore. Centrally sponsored scheme how much? 4 lakh 7, that means almost 5 lakh. Finance commission grants how much? 1 lakh 65. Other grants how much? 3 lakh 47. See, this is a transfer that is happening to the state. How much this total comes into? 47, 16, 34. Just do it. 10, 17, 9 no? 9.7. 10 lakh. 10 lakh crore is in the form of transfers. 10 lakh crore in the form of devolution. Devolution. Total how much money states are getting? 20 lakh crore. That is the reason why states will wait for this 20 lakh crore to announce. After that they will start presenting their own budget. After that states will start their own budget. 20 lakh crore. On average you do it by 30, you do it by 30. 2 by 3. How much? 6, 0.6. At least 60,000 crore. On average, at least 60,000 crore. It may be in various forms. Some programs, devolution. That is how you will get. Now in this, see, forget about the 10 lakh crore of devolution. How much union is collecting taxes? 23 lakh crore. What is the non-tax revenue? I think another 3. Total 26. Am I right? 26 lakh crore is the net revenue to the union. 26 lakh crore is the net revenue to the union, of which 10 lakh crore is for transfers, of which 10 lakh crore is for interest payment. How much deducted? 20. What is the leftover money to the union? 6 lakh crore. What is the established expenditure? That means after transfers, after interest payment, your revenue receipts are not even sufficient for your established expenditure. Forget about capital. That is why they are taking a loan worth of 17 lakh crore to meet the established expenditure, to go for the capital expenditure. Okay. So this is how the transfers happen from, how many transfers? Centrally sponsored scheme. This is government is doing out of their own wish, no one is asking. Finance commission grants 275 compulsory, 282. Devolution anyway compulsory. Okay. Why they are implementing? That's why I told you, they are not asking for this amount. Please don't give this amount, just give this amount as devolution. Is it okay? Capital expenditure, grants in aid for capital expenditure. Okay. See, sometimes how much they have estimated? 7 lakh 50,000. How much they spend? 7 lakh 28. What is the deficit? 22,000 crore. No, your Chidambaram is so particular about this 22,000 crore. She has announced 7 lakh 50,000 crore, but what is her spending? It is less than what she announced. And today she is announcing 10. Maybe she is end up with somewhere 7 or 6. See how he can manipulate the numbers. No, this is how economists will twist the things. Okay, I do agree that there is a deficit, but just imagine yourself, what is the actual that you have spent last year? 5 lakh 92. How much you are spending this year? 7 lakh 28. That means more than 1 lakh 30,000. That is an expenditure, but he don't see that 1 lakh 30. He will just see for this 22. She announced something, but she is not spending. This government is don't work on what they talk. Simply they announce lot of numbers. You see the capital expenditure. Simply with his good English, he can communicate anything. Okay. But anyhow, that is how. And it's good to know that the grants in aid for creation of capital assets is increasing. They are giving the grants, but they are making sure that you must create the capital expenditure. See, of the total center expenditure, which one is taking high? 14.68. Central sector schemes. Next. Other central sector, that means interest. Next. Established expenditure. Okay. You can analyze, no? Trends in capital expenditure. I think it's better to draw this graph in mains exam. Okay, because everywhere you can see this graph with different colors. In total economic survey and even in budget also. Okay. So 13.7, 10.5, 8.4, 6.4, 5.2, 5.0. Wow. From 2017-18 onwards, it is consistently increasing. Am I right? Effective capital expenditure. Even capital expenditure is also increasing. Yes. 17-18. Okay. I think on capital expenditure we got some question in UPSC. Okay. When you get you just draw like, okay, 2017-18, just draw the curve. Okay. This is not required, but see the subsidy. Which subsidy is highest? I think somewhere you got this question, no? Arranging 3 different subsidies, fertilizer, food, arranging. Fertilizer subsidy how much? 1,75,000. You said earlier you seen this central sector scheme, no? Central sector. This is central sector. Because who is giving that subsidy? Central government is giving the subsidy. Fertilizer subsidy is how much? Food subsidy. So now arrange it in order: food, fertilizer, petroleum. Food is still high. 1,90,000. Even last year also food is high. Okay. This is to the different ministries. Just have an idea. What is the transport ministry's allocation? 5,17,000. 5,17,000. So they will take this number and they will write some analysis. This year budget has given more to the transport sector. So what are the importance of what are the initiative taken, how it will promote the growth. This is what you will get in the next day of that budget paper. Lord, so with this even you can write also your own analysis. Just take some 1 or 2 number and write an article. You can't analyze the whole budget, no? Why you are considering budget as so important? Because someone is interested in this transport and all, they'll say like it's a good budget because it is a record allocation. Okay. So whole 45,000 how it has spent among the different ministries. See, they will see like education expenditure. They'll say like, okay. See here, budget estimate, revised estimate, no? Say take the case of education. Here finance minister say that, okay, 80,000 crore we announced. We increased to 1,04,000, now we are increasing 112. And immediately your opposition leader says that you announced 1,04,000, you spend only 99. So there is a 5,000 crores of deficit. This year also you will double it, so 10,000, ultimately you will end up with 1,00,000 crore. This is how they will do it. Okay. So whatever we are estimating, it's not compulsory that we have to spend. Okay. Even external affairs ministry, 18,000 crore. From this only you will give some all the assistance to Bangladesh, Sri Lanka and all. Okay. Interest you can see 10 lakh. Tax administration of its transfer to GST compensation. Composition of expenditure. So defense in tax administration, subsidy. See the subsidy box. See the interest box. That whole interest. See, they will take the percentage share and they will draw it. Simply they don't do. Okay. Okay. Interest. See the transport and defense. After subsidy, transport, defense. Okay. Pension is also having rural development little bit. Transfer to states, agriculture. This is how they have allocated among the different ministries. Social welfare continuously increasing in the last 3 years. Urban development reduced, health no, education consistent increase, agriculture no, transport is yes. So just remember transport and education, social welfare also, social welfare. Okay. See, if you know about all these things, no, you can write answer whatever the question they have given. I am really guaranteeing that you don't think even for 1 minute. You'll start writing. If you don't know all these things, you will wait and you will waste 5 minutes. Okay. So devaluation. Now you can understand it clearly. Some important transfers. So we have talked about transfers. assistant to state from NDRF. So some disaster response funds will, externally aided projects grants. Okay, anyway, these are not required, but for your understanding I am giving this 4 and 5. Externally aided, actually they should aided, they have written added. Okay, in the down they have written aided. What is this externally aided project? Your Prime Minister will come to Trivandrum and he announced like, yes, I am announcing so and so, I am giving the responsibility to your Pinarayi that you can go for external aided project and you can implement this. You go and take loan from somewhere. You go and take loan from anywhere. You bring money and you spend. I am ready to provide. In this case grant, in this case loan. If it is granted, no, that means free money. Okay, but government don't give that money now itself. They will reimburse it later. Okay. Finance Commission grants. See in how many ways Finance Commission is transferring the grants under 275. Grants for local bodies, that means urban bodies, local bodies. Grants for health sector, we have seen. Grants for incubation of new cities. Last year, no, this year. Grants for shared municipal services, 250. That's a small number. Hardly some will get 50 lakh, 60 lakh, not more than that. Grants in aid for SDRF, State Disaster Response Force. Already Finance Commission recommended like state should get the Disaster Response Force funds. These people will take and they will utilize, and whenever there is a disaster, they will ask for the Union Home Ministry, you please come and do the survey and give the money. Okay. And center can't say in that critical time, no. See, that is a disaster time. You have eaten away all the funds that I have given, they can't say. Okay, simply they will come and they will hardly announce 1000 crore or let it be 500 crore. And again they will start blaming, yes, Union government is not at all sympathetic to Kerala. Okay. See, if you understand this, no, you can understand that politics. See, everything is lies in finance. Okay. Your Modi is respected because your Prime Minister is respected. He is sitting on 45 lakh crores of fund every year. Even if you include the devaluation also, 55 lakh crores of funds he is sitting. So that is how he got. Someone is least bothering about some chief minister of Goa or somebody because his budget is hardly 30-40,000 crore. Okay. So transfers, anyway, this already we have seen total transfers. Even to the total transfer to the state it is increasing, you see. Either it can be devolution or it can be transfers, but you see, okay, from at least 1920. Okay. That is what they will say. So this government is not at all following federalism. Immediately your finance minister stood up in 2019-20, 11.45. In 2020-21, 13.20. She will give the number. And there is a record jump from 2020 to 21-22, 13 lakh to 17 lakh. Okay. And in your UPI time, obviously in UPI time, I think it is something around 5 or 6. So from 5 to 18 lakh, 13 lakh increase. This is what Modi is doing. Finance Commission grants is declining. Schemes related and other transfers, it is increasing. Devolution is also increased. Devolution increases when total tax collection increases. Okay. This is the whole budget profile from where you are getting that 45.03. See how beautifully they have written capital receipts 18.71. It is a debt. Debt. Beside they have written debt receipts 17.87. Market loan, small savings, others. Net tax 23. Non-tax 3.02. In the dividend and profit 0.1. Others 1.86. Interest 0.25. In gross tax, GST. Okay. Again, when it comes to spending, transfers, scheme expenditure, central sectors. Where is your interest? This is your interest. See, last they put 10 lakh crore. Okay. So I think now you got some idea. Okay. So how this money comes and goes. Okay. So this will helps you a lot in understanding many things. Which department deals with this debt? which department? Finance Ministry only. Ministry of Revenue, Department of Revenue, Department of Expenditure, Department of Economic Affairs, Department of Financial Services, Department of Public Asset Management. I have given 5 options. These are the 5. No, Department of Economic Affairs. Okay. Once they bring, these people will start spend. Okay. This whole document I share. Okay. I think like how I have shared in Telegram, I asked Aruna to share all these things. Okay. It won't be uniformly transferred to all the states. See, when it comes to the Finance Commission transfers, there is a formula. When it comes to the centrally sponsored scheme, if you don't want to implement the scheme, how can you get? Even Finance Commission grants also, you are all aware. It is not for all. It's all based on the need. Next, special purpose vehicle is altogether different from these things. Altogether different from this. Okay. Next. Anything? Someone? Yes, it is up to him. There is no compulsion that you have to be stick to the only one tax regime. No. But the government intention is, because in the direct tax reforms also I told, as long as if you are having these exemptions, it is creating more problem than what actually we are getting. But the argument is, no, Finance Minister is not incentivizing the savings, because if you go for the old tax regime, there is a provision for social security. If you pay some insurance premium, like that it will be deducted. Now because of this Finance Minister's more promotion towards the new tax regime, now people are not going to save some money in terms of insurance and all. But what Finance Minister argument is, we want to create a hurdle-less or a seamless taxation system, where a normal individual has to file a return. We have to simplify, and he can save some money in old tax regime. With that, he can get some extra tax benefits. Under the new tax regime, he don't save anything, but here he can save the tax. The tax in the newer tax regime is low. So anyway he is saving money here, he can save this money anywhere. So we are giving the freedom to the taxpayer to save money in whatever way instrument they want. But whereas in case of old tax regime, there is only specific case to save. See, he either has to invest in insurance, or he has to invest in some other social security. Limited options are available there. But here, if you save the money by changing it to new tax regime, that whatever the tax that you have said, you can invest anywhere. Why we should guide somebody? That is what Finance Minister is saying. And it's not compulsory, but when you open the ITR portal, first you will get the new tax regime, and if you don't want, you can go to the old. If you are consistently new tax regime payer, if you want to go to old, you can go. If you are continuously an old tax paying regime, you want to shift to the new, you can come, you can go, you can come. It is up to you. But under new tax regime, tax is less. Next, anything? See, cess can be imposed by the union. Recently, Kerala state has announced some cess. See, actually the purpose of cess is, you have to use it only for a particular purpose. You have to use only it for a particular purpose. See, you have to understand it carefully. Why actually cess is getting more prominence at the union level means, if union government collects the cess, it cannot transfer it to the state. So whether union is using that cess money for that particular purpose only or not, that's a different story. If union collect the cess, there is no point, they don't share it to the states. But imagine, a state is collecting the cess. In my viewpoint, there is no point in collecting the cess. You can simply collect the tax. But if union, instead of collecting the cess, if it collect the tax, what will happen? It has to share it with the states. But for the state, there is no compulsion for the state, to share it with anybody. So simply they can go for tax. But sometimes still they are going for the cess. Why they are going for the cess? Why they are going for the cess means the reasons are many. Suppose if they want to impose extra tax on and a tax which is taxed in GST. See, suppose take this pen. On this Kerala is imposing the GST. It's not Kerala is imposing GST, the whole GST council is imposing. If you want extra money from this item, the only thing through which you can get is only cess. This is one case where state can collect the cess. Second case is, suppose if I collect the tax now, it will go to the consolidated fund of state. We don't know again to where we really reprioritize that whatever the money that you have collected. Suppose if I collect it as a cess, then I can utilize this fund only for this particular purpose. Suppose just assume I have collected a cess for let it be establishment of libraries. Even if it is deposited in consolidated fund of the state, that has to be utilized only for creation of the libraries. My point is, if the whole money is in your hand, there is no point even if you collect either cess or tax, if you really interested to develop the libraries. Did you get the point? That is why collection of cess is not necessary, but they are doing it. Even if you collect it as a tax also, you can spend on this item. But they are believing like, no, if I collect the tax, I can spend it on different items. That is your inefficiency. Moreover, sometimes they want to say like, no, our tax rate is only 18%, but including cess, it is 20 or 25. So these are the various reasons why they are resorting for the cess. So the cess at the state level, it don't have much impact. It is only your convenience. Is it clear? Why? I did not understand. See, union government can impose the cess. The state government, there is no point in imposing the cess. The state government, there is no point in imposing the cess, because that cess actually, the cess we studied in the context of sharing of revenues. So when there is no requirement to share it at the sub-state level, that means at the district level and all, there is no point in collecting cess. There is no point in collecting the cess. But whatever this Kerala has collected the cess, it is only for its own administrative purpose it has did. It has its own administrative purpose it has did. But whatever the Kerala has collected the cess, that is not shareable with anybody. So if you take the case of other states, they don't go for any cess. And cess is in the context, it is only for specific purpose. But it cannot be shared with the state. That is why cess has gained lot of importance at the union level. Cess at the union level has gained lot of importance because it must share. Cess at the state level, and most of the states not going for the cess because it no need to share it with anybody. And there is no point in going for collection of the cess except for your this financial administration. Next, anything? Any other? So what you have to do is just read the budget and also try to complete the economic survey as soon as possible, maybe within 1 week to 10 days. Don't take much time, because after this class, if you read now, you can understand it thoroughly. Okay, so I think now you understood like how you can use this information for writing various answers of various subjects. Okay, so with this we have completed economic survey and budget. Okay, thank you.
Amrita IAS Academy.